5 years ago, Princess Haya, the wife of Dubai's ruler, fled to the UK. She feared for her life and her children's future. Their separation became one of the biggest divorce cases of the century, with the court siding with Princess Haya. But even now, she doesn't feel safe and fears losing her kids. Sheikh Mohammed has tried several times to take their son and daughter. What if he manages to pull off his evil plan? What kind of future awaits these children? And how does Princess Haya live 5 years after the divorce? Watch till the end for the chilling details. When news broke in 2019 that Princess Haya had fled Dubai, people were stunned. The idea that a princess, married to the powerful Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, would escape seemed unimaginable. This was more than just family drama. It exposed underlying tensions and spotlighted life behind palace walls. The news first hit the headlines in June 2019, with British media like BBC and The Guardian reporting her arrival in the UK with her 2 children. Rumors of her relationship with a British bodyguard and growing conflicts with her husband quickly spread, adding intrigue to the story. After arriving in London, Princess Haya sought legal protection for herself and her children. She claimed she had left because of threats to her life and her children's future. During court hearings, it became clear that she had faced intense psychological pressure, surveillance, and intimidation. Her court statements gave the public a rare glimpse into the powerful forces at play and sparked widespread conversations about women's rights in the region. This moment shocked the public, leaving many wondering what was really happening within the walls of Dubai's royal family. But before we go over the full story of this high-profile case, let's dive into Princess Haya's background and discover how fate brought her together with one of the most influential sheikhs in the Middle East. Princess Haya was born on May 3, 1974, in Amman, Jordan, into one of the most prominent royal families in the Middle East. Her father, King Hussein of Jordan, was a powerful and influential leader, admired across the Arab world. King Hussein ruled Jordan for nearly 5 decades and was known for his efforts to maintain peace in a region often marked by conflict. He was respected not only as a king, but as a symbol of unity and strength for his people. Haya's mother, Queen Aliyah, was a beloved figure known for her charitable work and dedication to improving the lives of Jordanians. Princess Haya grew up surrounded by the responsibilities and expectations of royal life, yet her parents aimed to give her as normal a childhood as possible. They encouraged her to pursue her interests, which included sports and animals. Haya was particularly passionate about horses, a love that would later shape much of her life. However, tragedy struck when she was only 3 years old. In 1977, Queen Aliyah died in a helicopter crash while on a humanitarian mission. This loss had a deep impact on young Haya, and she grew up without the presence of her mother, relying instead on her father and other family members for support and guidance. This early experience of loss shaped Haya's sense of duty and compassion, values that would stay with her throughout her life. After her mother's tragic death, Haya's father, King Hussein, remarried several times. But it was his 4th wife, Queen Noor, who became the most influential maternal figure in Haya's life. Queen Noor, an American-born woman who embraced Jordanian culture, worked hard to bring stability and warmth to the royal family. She was known for her intelligence, grace, and dedication to humanitarian causes, much like Queen Aliyah. However, while Queen Noor did her best to create a nurturing environment for all of King Hussein's children, she could never truly replace Haya's mother. Princess Haya had fond memories of Queen Noor's kindness and guidance, but there was always a sense of distance. Haya carried the memory of her mother deeply in her heart, and that loss stayed with her. Queen Noor was supportive, especially as Haya grew older and pursued her passion for horses and sports. But for Haya, her mother remained irreplaceable, and she always felt a unique bond to her mother's legacy. This sense of loss likely deepened Haya's empathy and sense of responsibility, qualities that later shaped her own work and personal life. Princess Haya received a high-quality education from a young age. She studied in the United Kingdom, attending prestigious schools like Badminton School and later Bryanston School. Her education didn't just focus on academics, it also encouraged her love for sports, especially horseback riding. Haya was passionate about horses and developed her skills as an equestrian. She went on to study philosophy, politics, and economics at St. Hilda's College, Oxford, continuing to balance her studies with her dedication to horse riding. Her love for horses became more than a hobby. In 2000, she represented Jordan in the Olympic Games in Sydney, competing in show jumping. This achievement was rare for a woman from the Middle East, especially a royal. Her participation showed her determination and independence. Haya didn't want to simply follow royal duties. She wanted to prove her strength and abilities on her own. This spirit of independence and love for freedom would later play a major role in her life decisions. Princess Haya's love life before meeting Sheikh Mohammed was a mystery, wrapped in royal discretion. There were rumors that she may have had relationships with a few prominent figures, but these were kept strictly confidential. In the end, none of these relationships developed into anything lasting, possibly due to the pressures of royal life and family expectations. Haya eventually met Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, ruler of Dubai, and their connection grew despite their significant age difference. At the time of their wedding in 2004, Haya was 30 years old, and Sheikh Mohammed was 53. Their shared interests and mutual respect created a bond, even though they came from different backgrounds. Their wedding was both elegant and understated, as befits royal families, though it lacked the usual fanfare associated with royal weddings. Before meeting Princess Haya, Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum had been married multiple times and had several wives simultaneously, as is common in some royal and cultural traditions in the Middle East. Sheikh Mohammed, being the ruler of Dubai, came from a background where marriages were often arranged to strengthen family alliances and uphold cultural practices. By the time he married Haya, Sheikh Mohammed already had multiple wives and a large family. He was known to have fathered more than 20 children from his various marriages, with children spread across multiple households. His marriages were part of the traditional structure within the royal family, where each wife and her children often had separate residences and dedicated roles within the family. When Haya entered his life, she joined an established family network, becoming part of a royal household with many children and complex relationships. At the time of his marriage to Princess Haya in 2004, Sheikh Mohammed was already married to his first wife, Hind bint Maktoum bin Juma al Maktoum. She had given birth to his heir, Crown Prince Hamdan, solidifying her place in the royal family. Sheikh Mohammed had no intention of divorcing her, so Haya had to accept that she would not be his only wife. This was a reality she had to come to terms with, despite her independent nature. However, unlike Sheikh Mohammed's other wives, who kept a low profile and rarely appeared in public, Haya quickly became the most visible woman in his life. She often accompanied him to public events, standing out in elegant and colorful European outfits, showcasing her own style and confidence. Her public presence was striking, as she frequently represented Dubai at international events and took on a high-profile role in the city's social and charitable scenes. During her marriage to Sheikh Mohammed, Haya gave birth to 2 children, their daughter, Jalila, born in 2007, and their son, Zayed, born in 2012. Though Sheikh Mohammed and Princess Haya appeared in public as a picture-perfect family with their 2 children, their marriage was troubled from the start. Cultural and age differences created a divide between them that seemed impossible to bridge. Haya grew up in Jordan and was educated in the West, where she was given a great deal of freedom and independence. She struggled to adapt to the strict traditions of the United Arab Emirates. On the other hand, Sheikh Mohammed was a powerful and authoritative figure, known for his strict control and dominant personality. He was accustomed to being in charge and expected his family to follow his rules. The age gap between them, 25 years, added to the tension. When Haya was 40, she was still a beautiful woman in her prime, while Sheikh Mohammed was approaching 70, visibly aging. Haya's vibrant personality and striking looks drew attention, and as a woman used to a more open and social lifestyle, she enjoyed the admiration she received. This stirred Sheikh Mohammed's jealousy, making him increasingly possessive and distrustful of his wife's interactions. Over time, his jealousy grew, adding more strain to an already fragile marriage. As Princess Haya's marriage with Sheikh Mohammed grew colder and more strained, she found companionship in an unexpected place, with one of her British bodyguards. The attention, understanding, and warmth she lacked in her marriage seemed to emerge in this secret relationship. The bodyguard offered her an emotional connection that had been missing for years. For Haya, it was a chance to feel seen and appreciated as an individual, not just as the wife of a powerful ruler. Their relationship was kept in strict secrecy, as the risks were high. In Dubai, such a relationship outside of marriage could lead to severe consequences, especially for someone in her position. However, as the romance deepened, it became harder to hide. They had to meet in secret and communicate carefully, aware that Sheikh Mohammed's network was vast and always vigilant. Eventually, rumors of the affair began to spread within the inner circles. Sheikh Mohammed soon learned of the relationship, which intensified his anger and jealousy. For Haya, this affair became the breaking point. She knew there was no way to return to the life she had in Dubai, as the discovery of her relationship put her safety and the future of her children at risk. This realization set her on the path to escape, leading her to make one of the most daring decisions of her life. When Sheikh Mohammed discovered Princess Haya's affair with her bodyguard, his anger quickly turned to threats. Furious at what he saw as betrayal, he began to intimidate her, making it clear that her actions would have severe consequences. Haya later revealed that she started receiving menacing notes left in her private quarters. In one instance, she found a loaded gun placed on her pillow, an unmistakable warning of the power he held over her. Notes were left with chilling messages, hinting that her life and the future of her children were at stake if she did not fall back in line. The fear intensified when a helicopter landed unexpectedly outside her residence, with the pilot reportedly informing her that he had orders to take one passenger to a remote desert prison. Haya knew that her every move was being watched and that Sheikh Mohammed's reach extended far beyond Dubai. He had the resources, the power, and the connections to make her life impossible if she stayed. With these threats surrounding her, Haya realized that staying in Dubai was no longer safe, neither for herself nor for her children. She knew she had to make a choice: risk everything by staying or make a bold escape, leaving behind the life she had known for a chance at freedom and safety. These mounting threats pushed her to prepare for her escape, despite the incredible risks involved. Princess Haya decided to flee because she knew her husband's threats were not empty words. Sheikh Mohammed had dealt harshly with his two daughters from previous marriages, Sheikha Latifa and Sheikha Shamsa. Both young women had tried to escape, hoping to start independent lives free from their father's control. But Sheikh Mohammed, determined to keep his family under his rule, ordered them to be captured and brought back to Dubai. After their capture, they were essentially imprisoned, denied contact with the outside world, and held under constant surveillance. What Sheikh Mohammed did to his daughters shocked Haya deeply. She saw the consequences they faced simply for wanting freedom, and it became clear to her that if she stayed, she and her children could face similar treatment. Haya understood she couldn't wait any longer and had to act quickly to escape from such a dangerous man. In 2019, she made her move and sought refuge in the United Kingdom, finding protection for herself and her children from the powerful reach of her husband. Sheikh Mohammed divorced Haya under Sharia law and demanded that she return their children to Dubai. However, Haya took a bold step and initiated divorce proceedings in the United Kingdom, where she sought legal protection for herself and her children. This decision sparked one of the most high-profile divorce cases in the world, drawing international attention due to the power and influence involved. The case quickly became a landmark legal battle. Haya presented evidence of the threats and intimidation she had endured, revealing details of her life under constant control and surveillance. The British court had to weigh her testimony against the immense political influence of Sheikh Mohammed, who insisted on his right to have his children return with him to Dubai. The public followed each new development closely, as the case highlighted questions of personal freedom, human rights, and the limits of power in a globalized world. Throughout the legal battle, Sheikh Mohammed used every means available to try to bring his children back to Dubai. Princess Haya revealed in court that she lived in constant fear that he would attempt to kidnap them. She knew he could reach her even in the UK with his vast resources and network. At one point, she discovered that he had tried to buy property near her residence to monitor her movements and maintain control. He even attempted to leverage his connections by reaching out to her half-brother, King Abdullah of Jordan, hoping to persuade him to intervene and convince Haya to return to Dubai with the children. Sheikh Mohammed tried to use the close diplomatic ties between Dubai and Jordan to gain influence, knowing that Haya's brother could pressure her to comply. However, Haya stood firm, realizing that returning would mean losing her freedom and any control over her children's future. She knew that going back would place her daughter, Jalila, and her son, Zayed, under the complete authority of Sheikh Mohammed. This relentless pressure from her former husband only strengthened her resolve to protect her children and ensure they could grow up free from the constraints she feared in Dubai. Haya was especially fearful for her daughter, Jalila. She worried that if Jalila were taken back to Dubai, she could face forced marriage, a common practice for royal women in the region. Haya knew that, under her father's authority, Jalila would have little choice in the matter. The idea of her young daughter being married off without consent horrified her, fueling her determination to keep both Jalila and her son Zayed safe in the UK, where they would be free from such traditions. These fears drove Haya to continue her fight in the British courts, despite the enormous stress and personal risk involved. The court case became not only about custody, but about securing a future for her children free from the control and limitations she had experienced in Dubai. The High Court of the United Kingdom reached a series of conclusions that sent shockwaves across the world. The court found that Sheikh Mohammed had indeed orchestrated the abduction of his two daughters, Sheikha Shamsa and Sheikha Latifa. Both young women had been deprived of their freedom, with their father using his power to suppress their will and cut them off from any contact with the outside world. The court acknowledged that both Shamsa and Latifa had been forcibly returned to Dubai and were held under strict control. The court also revealed details about Princess Haya's desperate efforts to keep her private life concealed. Haya had paid $8.8 million to her security team to maintain the secrecy of her affair with her bodyguard, a relationship that Sheikh Mohammed had later discovered, further fueling his anger. Moreover, the High Court concluded that Sheikh Mohammed had launched an extended campaign of harassment and intimidation against Princess Haya, starting in late 2018. Haya had been subjected to threats and psychological pressure, including finding a gun placed on her pillow twice and receiving warnings about being taken to a remote prison. The court also found that Sheikh Mohammed's agents had used Pegasus spyware, a powerful surveillance tool, to hack the phones of Princess Haya and her lawyers, keeping them under constant surveillance. These findings highlighted the extreme measures Sheikh Mohammed was willing to use to control and intimidate Haya, pushing the court to prioritize her safety and that of her children. The ruling underscored the risks she faced and further justified her decision to seek refuge in the UK, where she could protect herself and her children from Sheikh Mohammed's influence. In the end, the court decided it would be too dangerous to return the children to Sheikh Mohammed, considering what happened with his other two daughters. In 2021, Princess Haya was granted full custody of the children. The High Court ordered Sheikh Mohammed to pay her a lump sum of £251.5 million, plus £5.6 million a year for each child. Additionally, an upfront payment of £290 million was set as a security guarantee. After the divorce, Princess Haya settled in a private residence in London, where she now lives with her two children under the protection of British authorities. Her home is heavily secured, reflecting the high level of safety required due to the ongoing risks from her ex-husband's influence. Life in the UK has allowed Haya and her children a sense of freedom and stability that was hard to imagine in Dubai. Her children, Jalila and Zayed, attend prestigious schools in London, receiving a Western education that gives them opportunities to pursue their interests in a supportive environment. Haya remains deeply involved in their lives, ensuring they have as much normalcy as possible despite the circumstances. She focuses on creating a balanced routine for them, with both academic and extracurricular activities that encourage their personal growth. Princess Haya herself has kept a relatively low public profile since the divorce, dedicating her time to her children and quietly engaging in charitable work. Although life in London is very different from her past in Dubai, she has found a new sense of independence and peace, away from the pressures and restrictions of her former marriage. Today, Princess Haya's daughter, Jalila, is around 16 years old, and her son, Zayed, is about 12. Despite being under the protection of British authorities, Haya continues to live with a sense of caution. She knows that Sheikh Mohammed's influence is extensive, and the lengths he has gone to in the past with both Sheikha Shamsa and Sheikha Latifa remind her that safety cannot be taken for granted. If Princess Haya's children, Jalila and Zayed, stay in Europe, they will likely enjoy freedom, educational opportunities, and legal protections, allowing them to pursue their interests and develop independence under their mother's guidance. In contrast, if they return to Dubai, they would fall under Sheikh Mohammed's authority and royal family rules. Their choices and movements could be restricted, with Jalila potentially facing expectations of an arranged marriage. Their lives in Dubai would likely emphasize tradition and family duty over personal freedom, much like their half-sisters, Sheikha Shamsa and Sheikha Latifa. While Haya has secured full custody and substantial protection, the fear of potential abduction lingers. Sheikh Mohammed has a record of using his resources to control his family, and Haya understands that he may wish to do the same with Jalila. The possibility that Jalila could face the same fate as her half-sisters, confined and cut off from the world, is a reality that weighs heavily on Haya's mind. However, the legal protections and security measures in place in the UK offer a much stronger barrier than what was available to Shamsa and Latifa. British courts have shown their commitment to protecting Haya and her children, and the substantial settlement ensures ongoing security for their residents and daily lives. While the risk cannot be fully eliminated, Haya's decision to stay in London gives her and her children the best chance of maintaining their freedom and safety. Princess Haya's story is a powerful example of the struggle for personal freedom and a mother's determination to protect her children. It highlights the stark contrast between control and independence, showing the resilience needed to break free from restrictions, even against great power. Her journey brings attention to human rights, especially for women and children in places where tradition limits personal liberty, underscoring the universal need for safety and dignity. How do you think it happens that people who were once so close become enemies? Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.